If there's one thing I share every year Ramadan, it's this yeastless ring donuts recipe. Yes, yeastless. So it's quick and easy to make. You need about 20 minutes and then you have ring donuts. Perfect for us working moms. We have to make something when we get home from work for iftar, and they're light and fluffy and they will be a big hit with your family. I can promise you that. So to get started, to a jug I'm adding 1 cup of milk and 1 tablespoon of vinegar or lemon juice, because we're making buttermilk here. If you have buttermilk you can use that. So set that milk mixture aside a bit. Then to a bowl I'm adding 50 grams of butter, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and I'm mixing it or whisking it with my whisk because I want it to be nice and light and fluffy and airy. Once that consistency has reached, I'm adding an egg and I'm whisking everything again. You want it nice, light and fluffy. Then I'm going to be adding 3 cups of self-raising flour to this mixture. So 3 cups of self-raising flour, and then I'm just going to use my spatula and just mix it through a bit before I start gradually adding the buttermilk. Then you're going to gradually start adding the buttermilk, not everything in the jug at once, because you don't want a too wet dough, right? So if the dough is a bit too wet, you can rather add a bit of more self-raising flour to it, but I gradually add the dough using my spatula, mixing everything together until I have a nice pliable dough. So this is the consistency that I'm looking for, a dough that I can work with, right? Then on a lightly floured surface, I'm just going to empty the dough on there, and I'm going to mix with my hands until it's nice and smooth. Then I'm going to roll it out with my rolling pin. So you don't want it too thin, but you also don't want the layer that you're rolling out too thick, because they do swell in the pan. So I'm just going to roll it out, and then I'm going to use a cookie cutter and a small round. I don't even know where this round comes from, but this round, I have it for years in my drawer. You can use anything. If you have a ring donut cutter, then that's also good. But I just use this cookie cutter and the small little round thing. You can use a bottle cap. There's a lot of things you could use. Even the vanilla essence bottle cap, you could even use that. So I'm cutting my rounds out, and then once done, I'm going to fry the donut in medium heat oil. We don't want to fry them too fast because you don't want them brown on the outside and not cooked on the inside. So I'm frying them in my pot with the oil, and then I'm going to flip them after about 2 to 3 minutes or so, and then I'll just flip them again until I have a nice even color on either side of the donut. And then I'm just going to use a slotted spoon, and I am going to take them out and let it just rest on some kitchen towel so that the oil can be absorbed. And then I dip mine in cinnamon sugar. Why am I so tongue-tied today? In some cinnamon sugar, but you can also dip them in, sugar syrup like you would do sisters, and then dip them in some coconut. You can even just sprinkle some chocolate sauce over them. You could also just sprinkle some chocolate icing sugar. You can make some icing sugar and dip the donuts in there. The possibilities are endless. So all that's left to do is eat it and enjoy it.